represent the recap of previous class. We had started our yesterday class with the topic plan could have different format. Plan can be represented in the descriptive format. For example, if we have to make our career plan, it is represented in the descriptive format. Plan can be developed in terms of graphics. Sir, give us an example of management complex of AMU. Project management company give a graphic plan. They would show in a particular month which activity they would undertaking. Mean what is the time frame of completing the activity. Another example we have the core document of the budget of the company presented in the parliament in terms of graphics. Now we across a question, does it helps to plan? Regarding this, sir give us a interesting statement which provoke us to think of relevance of planning. The statement is plan is nothing, planning is everything. It sum up both advantages and limitation of planning. Talking about the advantages, it provides us to think ahead. It means give a sense of direction. It provides us the relying point on which the organization or an individual have to work. Planning also avoid the piecemeal kind of decision making. And also, if we have to do the list, then at the end of the day, we can also have the stock of what we could accomplish and what we could not accomplish. Like we started the day with a list of 15 work, and we were able to complete the 13. We can look back to some satisfaction. So it facilitates control also. Now moving toward the limitations, specifically when the conditions are dynamic and uncertain, planning lead to disaster. Planning cannot be developed for a dynamic condition. It is important to plan, but sometimes plan create rigidity. Now, if we look at 10 topmost company, except two or three keep on changing because planning focus on today's competition and not on the future survival. And at the last, this is generally seen in the family business that it is difficult to change previously successful plan. It may provide us a false sense of security. Thank you, sir. That's it from my side.
Thank you, Aman.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Hayat Miroza. I am here to present yesterday's class recap. Sir introduced the class with SMART goals, where S stand for strategic, M stand for measurable, A stands for achievable, R stands for relevant, and T stands for time bound. Here, Sir specified the relevant goals. Relevant goals are the types of goal that contributes to the society and this inspires others. The basic example of relevant goals are Sir Syed Ahmad Khan's goal. There are two kinds of planning, short-term planning, that's a tactical plan, and a long-term planning, that's a strategical plan. And here Sir gave us an example of list of 100 companies where only few can sustain their positions and later only few can be removed or either they get replaced by other companies, and this is because the lack of planning. They don't have a long term plan, they just plan to achieve but not to sustain. Later Sir has described us about the different formats of planning, a descriptive format of planning and a graphic format of planning. Building of a management complex is a very nice example of a graphic planning. Then Sir quoted a quote from Dwight Eisenhower: plans are nothing but planning is everything, where Sir that means that plan is just a format, but planning is the consist of all the assumptions and hypotheses we need to work on. Later, we have talked about the positive as well as the negative impact of planning. Positive impact of planning is that it helps us to look forward and it creates us a pressure to work hard and gradually making us to a visionary. A very common and a very small example of planning is that having a to-do list. With having a to-do list, we can crystallize our work from routine as well as non-routine work. We can prioritize our time as well. And at the end of the day, when even 13 out of 15 work is completed, we have a feeling of self satisfaction. And there are and people with having no to do list will always be switching from one issue to the second issues. Later we have talked about the negative impact of planning. Like negative impact of planning is that it makes us rigid. There are people who always assume that the only path that makes us successful is the only path you can take once. And a very common example is that the family business people of an elder class always think that the path taken by them to make the family business successful is the only path, and they do not always welcome the idea of the younger generation. Later, sir concluded the whole class that we should restrain from the thought of we arrived, as it will end up our thinking caliber and self growth. And the feeling of we arrived also gave us dead makes us dead intellectually. And we should keep planning, but being rigid and having no scope for change isn't a good thing. We should keep striving for a better tomorrow, and we should keep having we should look forward for a better place always. Thank you. That's all from my side.
Thank you, Hayat and Aman.
Thank you, sir.
Both of you did a good job in terms of content, and in terms of delivery, Hayat did a better job in the sense that she appeared to have better command over the language in which she was speaking. So because of that, her style of delivery was more natural. Maybe Aman, your challenge is to fine tune your language further, and that will improve the confidence level with which you will make your presentation. But otherwise, your preparation was very good. You did a good job. So now, just continuing with the idea that we were discussing about planning and limitations of planning that we have discussed. Now today we shall start again with your own personal indulgence with an issue which is very important naturally for you. All of you are attending a class today, this management class. Let us reflect when you were in class 10th, let us say. How many of you had at that point of time thought that 5 years down the line you will be sitting in an MBA class? Can we have some reflections on this?
No, sir.
No? So how it happened that now you are here?
I thought, sir, but I thought that after getting a job in the government, I will do MBA from foreign.
Okay. So, and what is your basic graduation degree?
So BCA.
BCA. Okay. So was BCA also your original plan?
No, sir. But actually, I was interested in NDA, National Defense Academy.
Okay. Can we have some more reflections? What you were like when you were in class 10th? What were your aspirations then? And now how come you are sitting over here attending this online class of MBA? Zainab, are you there?
Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. What do you think of this?
So can you repeat the question?
My question was that what were your aspirations when you were in class 10th? And then at that time, were you contemplating that you will be attending an MBA class 5 years down the line?
I always wanted to do MBA, but since class 10th, I had a vision about not doing a job and being my own boss. So in that aspect, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. So, from then on, I had planned that this is what I want to do.
So you are very crystal clear that yes, you want to do MBA because that's your route to entrepreneurship. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Some other reflections?
So I wanted to be a professor, and I'm still doing MBA, so I'm on the same line. Like after doing MBA, I'll do PhD.
You want to get into academics? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Any idea why professor of management only? Why academics? Generally, for academics, people take up traditional disciplines.
So earlier, sir, I did not plan sir MBA. I sir planned MTech and then get some sir corporate experience to be a consultant, as well as sir I wanted to be a research scholar. But sir, after that, sir, I joined sir, I got the job offer. I did my bachelor in civil engineering. But then due to Corona lockdown, sir, everything got changed, and I had no options. So I thought to continue my study.
Anyone else would like to reflect on this?
I wanted to be a geologist. Then I realized that it was just enthusiasm. I was an enthusiast. And then I wanted to start my own business. And MBA is like a second plan B if I fail in business.
So, from these reflections, which I've got, some of you can write if you want to write about your aspirations. Then you can write. So you can do so on the chat box also. I'll have a look at them. But the core point that is emerging is that yes, some of you like Zainab, maybe she was very clear from the day one that she wants to be her own boss, and maybe MBA is the right kind of course for her. But many of you, have switched over and have experienced change in aspirations. So this is what I was talking about. We do not step into the same river twice. We change, isn't it? Over the years, we change. And we mature. Yes, we have some infatuations at every stage of our life. So let us not call them aspirations. We get hooked to some ideas, and that may be because of varied things. It may be, peer group influence, or it may be, some elder in the family. I told you about that senior of mine who was under the influence of his elder brother, who had made a mark as a medical professional. So, we get a lot of influences from outside, and our inside also, reflects on it, mulls over it. And based on that, we attempt to crystallize our ideas. So if I ask, let us say, for example, Kamran, is it so that he had no plan? And just like that, he is now in MBA. He had plans, as he said, but his plans underwent change. He wanted to be, for example, into defense, NDA. But maybe, something happened at his level or at the level of his dear ones, they thought army is not the right kind of career for you, and then switched over to BCA, and then wanted to get into job and do MBA from abroad. Then again things change. Maybe this corona.
Actually, sir, I couldn't got selected, and I am still trying.
You are still trying through CDS.
Yes, sir, yes, FCAT and CDS.
Okay. So the point is that as a statement which I quoted, life is what happens to us when we were busy making plans. So there are all kind of opportunities that life throws at us, and we capitalize on those opportunities. For example, when I joined AMU, that was in the year 1980, my father had sent me here to pursue MBBS, and his aspiration was that I should be a doctor. And somehow I was also influenced by that aspiration, and I came to Aligarh. I was a good student. I was topper of my district in UP board examination in 1980. So my father had high hopes that I will make it to MBBS, and I did prepare for it, and I wrote the PMT exam then, as it was called then. Now it is called NEET. But somehow I could not make it. And in fact, in the first attempt, all of us who were doing pre-university course and pre-medical course at that point of time, it was not 10+2, it was called pre-medical course, PMC. Only 4 of us could make it to MBBS in the first attempt. So people consoled me, including my father, कि कोई बात नहीं, try next time, you will make it. But then something started happening then, and I started enjoying my life in Aligarh, especially the literary life of Aligarh. And I had an elder in the hostel who was a giant on that account. He was a debater par excellence, and he inspired me to face audience, stage. I was very apprehensive of facing the stage, but he on one occasion literally pushed me to the stage, and his logic was very simple. He said ये उसमें तीनों जबानों में डिबेट होनी थी, और उनका हिंदी मीडियम में सिर्फ 2 स्टूडेंट्स हैं, जाके कुछ भी बोल दो, तीसरा इनाम तो मिल ही जाएगा. So that is how the journey started, and that's besides the point that I could not face the stage for more than 1 minute, and my legs gave in, and I had to leave the stage just like that. So, but the point that I'm making is that from 3rd year onward, I started enjoying my life in Aligarh. And then I would visit my friends who have made it to MBBS, and they would hardly have time for me because the schedule was so hectic and all that. They would have classes till 4, then from 6 they would be busy in other things. I mean, it was a very, very hectic life for them. And then I started questioning whether this is the kind of life I want to lead, where you will have No time for yourself, for your friends, or for your near ones. So second time I wrote the PMT exam, but I know it was a half-hearted attempt. I was just performing a motion, just to show it to my father that हाँ दे रहा हूँ, लिख रहा हूँ इम्तिहान, preparing for it. But deep down I knew that I was not interested in MBBS anymore. And as you know that with half efforts, you don't get half results, you get no results. So I could not make it to MBBS second time also. And there were many in my batch who had not made it, so they were trying third time also, but I made it very clear. I could muster enough courage. And in third year of my BSc, I told my father, okay, this is not for me. And I'm sorry to disappoint you on this account, but I will not get into it. So finally, like all good fathers, he also relented. He said, ठीक है, it's your life. But फिर क्या करोगे? So by then, I had a hostel mate, my side room partner, who had made it to, who came to Aligarh, did POC in science and switched over to BA with a very conscious plan that he wanted to get into civil services. And he had opted history as his subject because the general belief was that history is good for competitive examinations. So under his influence, he said, I opted for history in MA. And when I shared this with my father that I want to do MA in history, that was really shocking for him. And those were the days when good students study science, not the lesser mortals, they study MA, BA kind of stuff. So he was very shocked. He said, कैसे ये क्या कर रहे हो तुम? You are a good student. You are whiling away your life. But civil services Kira was there in my mind, so I said no, father. MA history is the best option for me. So finally he relented on that also. And I started enjoying trust me, that was the best period of my academic life. It appeared as if I was meant for history. To the extent that I was the second topper of my MA previous year examination. The first one was a lady who had studied, she was from Assam. She had studied history all through her academic life, so she was naturally blessed on that account. I was studying history for the first time, and she had good command over language also. And finally, this lady is now professor of history in Arizona State University in US, and she has done marvelous work in the field of history, especially now she is a peace professor also there. So I was enjoying my MA history, but somehow something else also happened during that period. One day I was passing by I was living in Aftab hostel. So I was passing through that road, and that I met one of my classmate, erstwhile classmate, who had now made it to MBBS in the third attempt. And he was feeling very high for that reason. And so he asked me कि भाई परवेज क्या चल रहा है? मैंने कहा साहब MA कर रहा हूँ हिस्ट्री में. He then ridiculed me like anything. He said, what are you doing with your life? MA history. So that day I learned one more lesson, that once you are a failure by world's standard, failure I'm using quote unquote. So if you are a failure, anybody can give you a suggestion, and you have to accept it. So when he ridiculed me like anything, तो फिर मैंने उससे कहा कि अच्छा तुम ही बताओ फिर मैं क्या करूं. तो he gave me a fantastic advice. He said ऐसा करो तुम डिप्लोमा कर लो. And I was shocked. I said डिप्लोमा के क्यों? He said कुछ जॉब वॉब मिल जाएगी, कुछ 2-3 हजार की नौकरी मिल जाएगी, ये सब एमए से क्या होगा. So I was very very hurt deep down, but I did not show it to him. I told him हाँ यार गौर करूँगा, देखो तुम, thank you for your advice. And I came back to my room and did some deep contemplation, and I realized that I am enjoying my history, but suppose I don't make it to civil services, what will happen? You are a hero or a zero in civil services. So that is when I seriously thought of a fallback option. And with very heavy heart, I wrote this MBA exam, made it to it, but and I had to leave my MA history, which I was enjoying thoroughly. Trust me, I was enjoying it thoroughly. But I left it for good, and finally I did MBA. But as I've already told you that civil services Kila was there in my mind, especially because of the peer group influence. I had a group in the hostel, Aftab hostel, who were seriously inclined towards that option. And in fact, 6 of us were preparing. 4 of them finally made it to civil services. I also cleared my prelims and I was writing my mains. And the mains were due in November. In October, a vacancy cropped up in the department. Incidentally, yes, I had made a promise to my father that after 3 years, I will be on my own. Because he said, I am a college teacher, you 2 of you are already studying in AMU. My elder brother was also in AMU then. And after 3 years, your third brother will join AMU. So it will be very difficult for me to afford the education of 3 of my sons in Aligarh. So on that I said, no, father, you have my word on this. After 3 years, I'll be on my own. So after MBA, I wrote my JRF exam, qualified it, and that gave me that financial security that I was looking for. So I was getting enough. In fact, as a JRF scholar, I was getting 1800, and when I was finally selected as lecturer in the department, I was getting 2200. That was the salary. So I was, far, enjoying my life. Living in hostel, 1800 was a huge sum. Earlier, I was surviving on 500 rupees. So the point that I'm making is that then when I was writing my mains exam, this vacancy cropped up and I was the only JRF holder then. So I was selected for lecturership. I waited for joining because I was writing mains exam. बट फिर अलीगढ़ का आप लोग जानते हैं माहौल कि वो चाय और मुबारकबाद का सिलसिला शुरू हो गया, अरे जिगर हो गया तुम्हारा ये, and all that. So the crucial part of last 1 month's preparation was wasted in accepting mubarakbads. So finally I started teaching after writing my mains exam. I said कि चलो इस बार नहीं हुआ, अगली बार लिखेंगे civil services. But then when I got into teaching, I started enjoying every bit of it. Maybe both my parents were teachers, so that was in my blood. So, and then from then onwards, I have never looked back since then. And I have thoroughly enjoyed my life as an academic. I could not have opted for a better life. That's my assessment about my own professional choice, which I made then, which was accidental, in a way, an accidental choice. So, what do you think is the message which I am trying to communicate?
Sir, I have a question.
You cannot simply plan your life, sir. It's all basis on the circumstances that you came across, and at that point you have to choose what is best suited for you and what your heart's call.
Sir, sometimes we don't choose the subject. Sometimes life chooses the subject for us.
Okay, that's very poetic way of putting it. Kamran, you want to?
Sir, I have a question, sir.
Yes.
Sir, as you are a civil service aspirant that is full of adventure and ups and downs, sir, how can you enjoy academic life which is so static?
I think there cannot be a more exciting life than an academic. Each year I interact with young minds. I am teaching the same subject, but as they say, we do not step into the same river twice. I am teaching the same subject, but I am interacting with a different group.
Is it enjoyable, sir?
Do you think when I teach I enjoy it?
I think yes.
So? I'll just stop for a while. There is some problem in my laptop. I'm there only. I'm just checking my connections. Okay. In the meanwhile, you can think of your own reflections, and we will continue this discussion in after a break of 1 or 2 minutes. Okay. इधर से बीना है ना है हाँ आ गया ठीक है थैंक यू यस आई एम बैक So Kamran, you were asking some question?
I asked, sir, that was the same question.
Can you repeat?
Sir, as you were a civil service aspirant that is full of adventure, ups and downs, dynamic job it is, but as an academician it is a very static job. So how can you enjoy it?
And Kamran, in life there are two things, role taking and role making, isn't it? Role taking is that others specify role for you and you accept it. But role making is that you carve out your own role, isn't it? So for any job, civil services could be a very boring job for many. And I've seen some of my friends, in fact, one of my students, for example, now he runs an NGO under the influence of Harsh Mandir. He was waiting for 20 years so that he can retire seek voluntary retirement. In fact, because he was posted in Nagaland, so he got a grace. So after 18th year, he quit civil services, and now he's running an organization called Misal Foundation. And his assessment, you say that it's an exciting job. His assessment is it's a boring job.
So it depends on whether we like challenges, adversaries or not.
अभी तो कल कह रहे थे ना कि no one has read one book in the same way.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's true for profession also.
Yes, sir.
आप 1400 टीचर से अगर इंटरेक्ट करें तो आपको आधे ऐसे मिलेंगे जो कहेंगे कि बड़ी बोरिंग जॉब है, और हो सकता है 20-25% ऐसे भी मिलें जो कहें कि इससे ज़्यादा एक्साइटिंग जॉब नहीं हो सकती.
सर ऑल डिपेंड्स कि आपका मिजाज कैसा है. अब यहाँ पे यू आर नॉट आंसरेबल टू समवन एल्स, जो आपसे कम एजुकेटेड है या फिर जो बस आ गया है किसी भी तरीके से, बट इन दैट सर्विस यू आर आंसरेबल टू दोज पर्सन विच आर मच लेस एजुकेटेड टू यू.
हाँ, इट्स अ कॉम्बिनेशन, यू नो, देयर आर वेरियस फैक्टर्स. जैसे मुझे व्हाट आई एंजॉय अबाउट टीचिंग मोस्ट, जो आपने पहली बात कही, यू आर द बॉस. You know, when you are in the class, you are the master of the ceremony. कोई वाइस चांसलर आपको ये मजबूर नहीं कर सकता कि आप खराब पढ़ाएं. क्या ऐसा हो सकता है? इनफैक्ट आज भी टीचिंग का प्रोटोकॉल ये है कि अगर वाइस चांसलर मेरी क्लास में आएगा, पहले ही विल सीक माय परमिशन, बिकॉज दैट्स माय टर्फ. मुझे लगता है इस तरह की इंडिपेंडेंस किसी प्रोफेशन में नहीं.
Yes, sir. That happens.
और एक फीलिंग जो आज मैं तकरीबन 32 साल इस प्रोफेशन में गुजार चुका हूँ, जैसे जैसे टीचर बूढ़ा होता जाता है वो जवान होता जाता है. क्योंकि जब आपको 20 साल पुराना स्टूडेंट मिलता है, 25 साल पुराना स्टूडेंट मिलता है, एंड यू गेट टू नो हाउ द काइंड ऑफ इम्पैक्ट यू हैव मेड हैज इन्फ्लुएंस्ड हिम, you feel so energetic and young. Again, मैं आपको ये टीचिंग प्रोफेशन इख्तियार करने के लिए इंस्पायर नहीं कर रहा हूँ, मैं तो अपनी लाइफ स्टोरी आपसे बयान कर रहा था. There are civil servants who have enjoyed their life to the hilt. I know of a person, Siraj Hussain. He was my friend's elder brother, and he retired as Secretary Agriculture in Government of India. And even after his retirement, he has used those insights, and he is a prolific writer on issues of agriculture presently. I mean, he retired 3 years back, but it has not impacted his life a bit. आज भी वो उसी मामूल के हिसाब से अपनी रीडिंग रूम में जाते हैं. He does his readings and churns out articles. He is a voice to reckon with in the field of agriculture. He has developed such expertise on that matter. At some point of his life, he was food controller also. So he knows a lot about food security, food wastage, and then as Secretary of Agriculture, he has developed true insights into the working of the sector, and he is valued for his advice. लेकिन हम लोग प्लानिंग डिस्कस कर रहे थे, और शायद आपको ये एहसास हुआ हो कि जो मेरी लाइफ जिस तरह से मैंने आपके सामने पेश की, was it like this that I had no plan and I was just jumping from an issue to issue? Life was creating a situation for me and I was just reacting to those situations. Yes, going with the flow, as Nidal says. I was just going with the flow. So what is the role of planning then in life? Somebody who thinks very orderly moves ahead as per that order which he has specified for himself. So just to give you a perspective now, actually there are two views now of strategy. One, when we make a strategy for ourselves, one mode is the planning mode, which I've already shared with you in detail. We have our aspirations and then we clearly specify a vision for us. That foresight gives us certain objectives which we want to fulfill. That's the planning mode. We plan and then we act. And it sounds very logical. We have that quote, think before you leap. So that's the planning mode. But then Henry Mintzberg has coined another term and he calls it crafting mode of strategy making. So strategy making can take two shapes, two forms. One is the planning form, which we have already discussed in great detail. And we develop different types of formats and all that. Based on that, we, crystallize our plans, either descriptively or through graphics. And then we have our short range plans and we have our long range plans and all that. But then Mintzberg says that sometimes we follow a crafting mode of a strategy. Now, can you reflect on this term craft? What is a craft? And how it is different from manufacturing, for example? So, craft is an art of making, okay. Mubashir. Have you ever used a crafted product? Why do we value a crafted product?
Sir, it doesn't involve automation.
Okay.
Because it is mostly by hand. That's
And mostly created
Sir,
by
it
hand.
is unique.
It is unique.
It
Very
is
good.
traditional.
Yes, traditional, not in a negative sense. Yes, a lot of conventional thinking goes into it. Yes. So it's a unique creation. Because the craftsman, when he would make that product second time, he would not make exactly the same product. Yes, there is years of experience which goes into making a crafted product. Yes, there is an element of creativity also in the crafted product. You're all very right. But to me, the most important feature of a crafted product is its uniqueness. It is my life. And I have shaped my life. Likewise, you are shaping your own life. Can two lives be same? Never actually. No two lives are same. So we craft our life. Because craft indicates, as somebody said, experience. It more important than that, it indicates involvement, which is not there in a manufactured product. It is the result of standardization and automation. Each product is same, is a replica of the other, is a copycat. And because of that uniqueness, it has an intangible value, yes. और जौहरी उस हीरे की कीमत जानता है. तो मुझे लगता है कि हमें दोनों व्यू को कल when we meet again, we will discuss it in a more structured manner. Today it was more of a personal reflection, and I did that reflection not for self-indulgence, but I wanted to impress upon this point that when you will study theory also, you will come across alternate models. So there are two models of strategy making that now are available in the field of literature. One is that planning model which I have talked about, and tomorrow I'll talk about in greater detail this crafting model of strategy making, जिसमें strategy जो है it evolves, it gets shaped, and the strategy actually is like the process of creating is very much like a potter working on the wheel and giving shape to a pot. So tomorrow we shall have a detailed discussion on this, and we will try to wind up this topic, giving you an alternate view of strategy making. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.